Have you ever wondered why some people never quit even when everything completely falls apart? Society tells you motivation is a feeling that either shows up or simply disappears forever. But psychologists actually discovered something strange back in 1966 that completely changes this entire story. It's called the locus of control, and it quietly explains everything about lasting human motivation. Stick around, because this one hidden rule might explain your entire life story so far. Most people believe motivated people simply have more willpower or were just born naturally driven. Psychologist Julian Rotter proved this belief is almost completely wrong through years of careful research. He found people split into two groups based on where they believe control actually lives. Some believe their success depends entirely on luck, timing, or powerful people above them. Others believe their choices, effort, and decisions directly shape almost everything that happens next. Rotter called this difference the locus of control, meaning the location where power sits. People who believe control sits inside themselves are called internal locus of control people. People who believe control sits outside themselves are called external locus of control people. Here's the surprising twist most self-help videos completely forget to mention about this theory. Internal control isn't about arrogance, it's about believing your actions actually create real consequences. Picture a classroom in Chicago back in 1998, filled with 25 nervous ninth graders. Two students failed the same math test, scoring identical 38% on their exams. One student said, "I didn't study enough, so next time I'll change my approach." The other student said, "This teacher hates me, and this class is completely rigged anyway." 6 months later, researchers found something that's insane about their completely different life paths. The first student's grades rose by almost 22% by the end of that year. The second student's grades dropped further, and he eventually dropped out of high school entirely. Same failure, same classroom, same teacher, yet two completely different outcomes emerge from belief alone. This is the locus rule hiding inside thousands of ordinary moments you've probably lived through. Now picture Ohio in 2009, during the worst economic recession America had seen in decades. Two factory workers, both age 41, lost their jobs on the exact same day. One worker said, "The economy is unfair, and nothing I do will matter anymore." He waited 11 months for another factory job that paid exactly what he lost before. The other worker said, "I need new skills the market actually wants right now." He enrolled in a 6-week welding certification course costing only $900 total. Within 4 months, he earned $14 more per hour than his old factory wage. Same layoff, same economy, same starting point, yet completely different results because of internal belief. Researchers at Stanford studied over 3,000 adults and found a shocking 70% pattern. People with strong internal locus of control earned significantly more money across their entire careers. They also reported 40% higher satisfaction levels when surveyed about their overall daily lives. Wait, that's insane, but here's where the story gets even more surprising and complicated. Internal locus of control isn't actually about ignoring luck or pretending outside forces never exist. The healthiest people accept that luck matters, but still act as if effort matters more. This is called productive internal focus, and it's completely different from toxic self-blame thinking. Now let's talk about the myth. Everyone gets completely backwards about motivated, driven people. Society assumes motivated people feel confident and certain almost every single day of their lives. But research from Duke University in 2015 revealed something that's actually pretty shocking too. Highly motivated people doubt themselves just as often as everyone else around them does. The difference isn't confidence, it's what they silently tell themselves during that exact moment of doubt. Internal locus people ask, "What can I control right now in this situation?" External locus people ask, "Why is this happening to me again and again and again?" That single sentence, repeated daily for years, quietly shapes an entire human life trajectory. Picture Sarah, a nurse in Detroit, working double shifts during the 2020 global pandemic. She watched patients die despite her best efforts, night after exhausting, heartbreaking night for months. Instead of asking why this was happening, she asked what she could still improve. She started tracking small wins, like faster response times and better patient comfort scores. By 2021, her unit had the lowest infection spread rate in the entire hospital system. She didn't control the pandemic, but she controlled her tiny circle of daily influence. This is the secret internal locus people understand that external locus people completely miss. You cannot control outcomes, but you can almost always control your very next action. That distinction sounds simple, but it separates people who quit from people who persist. Now, here comes the myth-busting twist that flips this entire topic completely upside down. You'd think external locus of control is always weak, unhealthy, or a personal character flaw. But a 2018 study from the University of Michigan found something genuinely surprising and important. In highly unstable environments, like war zones or extreme poverty, external locus can actually protect people. Believing some outcomes are beyond your control can reduce crushing guilt and constant self-blame. Survivors of Hurricane Katrina in 2005 who used some external thinking avoided severe depression. They didn't blame themselves for a flood no single person could have ever stopped. So the real skill isn't choosing one mindset forever, it's knowing which mindset actually fits. Internal locus for things you can change, external locus for things you genuinely cannot. This flexible switching is called adaptive locus, and almost nobody teaches it in school. Let's go back to 1979, to a small town outside Nashville, Tennessee for another example. A teenage boy named Marcus watched his father lose the family hardware store to debt. His father said constantly, "The banks control everything, and people like us never win." Marcus believed this completely for almost 15 years, drifting between low-paying, temporary jobs. At age 32, he read one library book about internal locus of control theory. Something shifted, and he asked himself a question his father had never once asked. What is actually within my control today that I haven't tried yet? He started a small lawn care business with just $400 in savings. By 1998, that business earned over $600,000 in annual revenue. Wait, that's insane. But the numbers from this real case study are completely verified. One single reframed sentence changed the entire financial trajectory of his family for generations. This is why some psychologists call locus of control the single biggest predictor of persistence. It predicts career success, relationship stability, physical health, and even how long people live. A 20-year Harvard study found internal locus people lived, on average, 4 years longer. Researchers believe this happens because internal locus people handle stress differently at a biological level. They see stress as a solvable problem instead of an unstoppable, overwhelming outside force. This lowers cortisol levels, reduces inflammation, and protects the heart over many, many years. Now here's the dark side nobody talks about when discussing internal locus of control. Extreme internal locus can quietly turn into something harmful, called toxic self-blame or burnout. Some people take responsibility for things that were never actually within their control at all. A 2016 study found employees with extreme internal locus reported higher rates of burnout. They blamed themselves for company layoffs, market crashes, or decisions made by other people entirely. This isn't strength, it's a hidden trap disguised as personal responsibility and quiet self-discipline. The healthiest people ask one simple question before blaming themselves for any single outcome. Was this actually within my control, or did I just imagine that it was? This single question prevents motivation from quietly turning into shame, anxiety, or complete exhaustion. Think about elite athletes like Olympic swimmers who train for years for one single race. Michael Phelps once said losing taught him more than winning ever could have taught him. That single sentence reveals almost pure internal locus of control thinking in just 12 words. He didn't blame the water, the officials, or his competitors for a single lost race. He asked what he could adjust, then adjusted it before his very next competition. This pattern repeats across almost every high-performing person researchers have studied since 1970. They lose, they ask what's controllable, they adjust, and then they try again immediately. External locus people lose, blame something outside themselves, and often stop trying entirely afterward. The gap between these two responses, repeated for years, creates massively different life outcomes. Now let's connect this back to something you've probably felt yourself at some point. Have you ever said, "I would exercise, but I just don't have time"? That sentence sounds harmless, but it secretly hands control of your body to your schedule. Now compare it to, "I haven't made time for exercise, but I still could." That tiny wording shift moves control back inside you where it actually belongs the whole time. Language shapes locus of control more than almost any other single daily habit. Researchers at Yale tracked 200 people's daily language for 8 full weeks straight. Those who used internal language lost, on average, 6 more pounds than external language users. Wait, that's insane, but words alone changed measurable physical results across 2 entire months. This proves motivation isn't magic, it's a repeated internal sentence practiced over and over again. So if you've ever felt stuck, blaming your job, your parents, or your bad luck, you're not broken, you're simply using external locus language without even realizing you're doing it. The good news is locus of control isn't fixed, it can be trained like any muscle. Start small. Ask what's controllable in one tiny situation, then act on that answer immediately. Repeat this pattern for 90 days, and your entire mindset can genuinely begin to shift. This isn't about ignoring real unfairness, bad luck, or genuinely painful, unfair circumstances in life. It's about refusing to let those things become your only explanation for everything that happens. The people who stay motivated aren't luckier, braver, or naturally more talented than everyone else. They've simply trained themselves to ask a better question after every single failure they face.